Hello, welcome to my channel. Please make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the body portion of the mermaid tail today. Please check the description box down below for the fin portion of this tutorial. This will be for a newborn size. Please also check the description box for the matching newborn bikini top and the crown that goes along with this outfit. So go ahead and check the description box down below. Let's go ahead and get started with this tutorial. For today's tutorial, I will be using these 3 different colors of this Red Heart soft yarn. You can use any 4-weight color of your choice. You can use 1 color, you can use 3 colors, you can use 4 colors, it's up to you. The colors that I am using is this watercolors. I will be using the lilac and the turquoise. You will also need a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, and you will also need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. To begin the tail, we will pick one of the 2 solid colors. I did do 2 solid and a variegated, so I'm going to start with this purple. So to begin, you do simply want to start with a magic ring and chain up 2. This will not count as a stitch. And go ahead and do 12 double crochets into your ring. If you would prefer to do a chain of 4 and then do your 12 double crochets into the first chain, making that into a loop, you can do it that way as well. So go ahead and do 12 double crochets and meet me back here. Okay, now that I have my 12 double crochets, I'm going to go ahead and pull this ring tight. Now, the trick to keeping these rings closed is making a knot once you pull that tight. So that will help keep it closed. Now, to continue on, we want to make 1 double crochet on top of the first double crochet of the row. And we do want to make sure that we kind of pull this tight, just like that. Now go ahead and grab your stitch marker and put that into your first stitch. Now this round 2 is going to be an increase round, and this is going to be the same for all of the increase rows. So to begin, we want to do 1 double crochet into that first stitch. Into the second stitch, we want to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So this is our increase. Now into the next stitch, we want to place 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch, we want to do 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. And so that's going to be our increase. So go ahead and continue to do that for this row, and I will meet you back here for round 3. Okay, so here I am back for round 3, and into that first stitch we are going to do 1 double crochet and replace your stitch marker. Into the next stitch we are going to do 1 double crochet, and into the third stitch we are going to do 2 double crochets. That will be our increase. So as we continue going through the rows, I'm going to let you work these on your own. Each row you will add 1 more in between your increases. So for row 1, 2, 3. For row 4, you will have 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then your increase. So go ahead and do this until you are increasing on the 10th stitch. When you are at the 10th stitch of increases, you should have 66 stitches. So go ahead and continue to do that along for the 10 rows until you are increasing on the 10th stitch, and I will meet you back here and we will go ahead and move on to the shell stitches. Okay, so this is what it looks like. As you see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches, and then an increase on the 10th. So now with the same color, we are going to move on to our shell stitch row. So where our stitch marker is, we are simply going to put a single crochet into that space and place our marker. Now we are going to skip 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch we are going to work 5 double crochets. So yarn over, insert our hook, pull through 2, pull through 2 more. So we're going to do 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch we are going to make a single crochet. Skip 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch work 5 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now skip 2 stitches, work a single crochet, skip 2 stitches, and work 5 double crochets. So continue to do that all the way back to your stitch marker and meet me back here. Okay, so here I have gone ahead and worked all the way around. You should have a total of 11 shells. Now here I am on my 4th double crochet for this last shell stitch. Now I'm going to yarn over, go through, and before I pull up that loop, I'm going to actually cut my yarn. So go ahead and grab your scissors. So leaving a bit of a tail, because we are going to want to sew this in later, you do want to go ahead and cut that yarn. Now I am using a variegated for my 2nd color, and then I will use the teal for the 3rd, but I want to use this to split up. However you choose to do your color scheme, that is up to you. But you simply want to leave a little bit of a tail like this and kind of make a loop and put that on your hook and pull that through. Okay, now we're using your working yarn. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through those last 2. Okay, so now what I like to do, just to make sure that my color changes are secure, I do like to do this at the end of every row. You just go ahead and make a knot, because we will be changing the color every single row. And you want to make sure that you change the color the last stitch before your stitch marker. So here we are at the single crochet. So we are going to work a shell stitch into that single crochet. So yarn over and work 5 double crochets into that single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now count over to the 3rd double crochet, so 1, 2, and 3, and put your stitch marker on top of that 3rd stitch. So each time that we work around, you will either be starting on top of a shell stitch or starting into a single crochet. So it will be changing every row. So now working here, we're going to count over 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And on top of that 3rd double crochet, we are going to work a single crochet. So we're working single crochets on top of our shell clusters, and then we are working a chain 5 for the shell stitch. So we will continue to do this all the way around. So into the single crochets, working a cluster for the shell, so 5 double crochets into the single crochet of the previous row. 3, 4, and 5. Now on to 1, 2, 3. On top of the 3rd, we're going to work a single crochet. So go ahead and do this all the way around, and I will meet you back right at the single crochet before our stitch marker. Okay, so here I am at this cluster. I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to cut off my yarn. Again, remember, leaving a bit of a tail. And now I'm going to grab my 3rd color. So the 3rd color, I am using this teal, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that through and yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on my hook. Now again, I like to tie this to make sure that it is a bit more secure and to tighten that stitch up. So this is going to be a little bit tedious. You will have some ends to sew in, but it does give it a very nice look. Okay, so now that we went ahead and worked that single crochet, we're actually going to work a shell stitch in between right here, just because we need to even this out. So we're going to add an extra shell stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now right here at the top of this third stitch of this cluster, 1, 2, 3, we're going to work a single crochet and put our stitch marker. Okay. Okay, so now just like we did previously into those single crochet spaces, we are going to work our shell stitches, which is the 5 double crochets into the 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On top of this, we are going to go ahead and work a single crochet. We will work that all the way around. So we will work a single crochet, a shell stitch, a single crochet at the top here, and at the single crochet is where we're going to cut off and change the color, and then we will begin with a cluster shell stitch here. So I will show you one more time at the end of this round how to do the color change, since we did add this extra stitch here, and then you will want to have a total of 21 shell stitches. I mean shell stitch rows. Okay, so here I am at the shell right before the stitch marker. So now we have 12 shells. I'm going to put my hook into that stitch, and I'm going to cut my yarn, grab up the first color, the main color that we've been working with. And just like we did on the other color changes, I'm going to go ahead and pull that through. Oops. So we don't want to pull it all the way through yet. We want to have it like this so that we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, and then pull through both of them. And if it's kind of loose like this, when we tie these, it does tighten that up. So then go ahead and tie like this. Now you want to continue to do your color changes. You want to have a total of 21 rows of shell stitches, including this first one here, 21 rows, excuse me. So 1, 2, 3. Now we are moving on to row 4. So then we will start the next row by working a shell stitch into that single crochet space where we have our stitch markers. So we can pull that out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we will put our stitch marker into the third stitch of that. So go ahead and continue to make your rows of shell stitches. We want to have 21 rows. So go ahead and do your 21 rows and meet me back here. Remember, we are going to be doing a color change for each row. Okay, so this is what it looks like once you have your 21 rows done. So here I am, and I'm going to finish up my last single crochet, and we are going to go ahead and cut off that color. We are going to change over our colors, and we are going to start on closing up this top part. So let me go ahead and pull up a loop. Go through, pull through both, go ahead and I'll tie this off. And now what we want to do is we want to make 2 double crochets into our single crochet spaces. So where our marker is here, we're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, pull through all 3. Or excuse me, we're doing a double crochet. So yarn over, go in. So here's 1 double crochet and here's 2 double crochets. And now along our shell spaces, we are going to work 3 half double crochets. So skipping 2 of those 5 double crochet spaces, we're going to work 3 half double crochets. Now into the single crochet, we are going to work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Here's our next shell stitch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can skip this first one, just do 1, 2, and 3 half double crochets, skipping 2 of those, and then to the single crochets, work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then work 3 more half double crochets, and then 2 double crochets. Go ahead and do that all the way back to the beginning, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so now that I have done that, for the next row, and go ahead and make sure you put your stitch marker at the beginning here, we are just going to finish off the body of the tail by working 1 half double crochet into all of those stitches. Again, do not forget to put in your stitch marker, so go ahead and do that. Work a half double crochet, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, and then after working your half double crochet row, you want to do a slip stitch twice, just to kind of even that off. Chain up 1 and cut your yarn. The next thing that you want to go and do is sew in all of your ends, because you will have a lot of them. So that is what the body of the tail looks like. So now what you will want to do is go ahead and check the description box down below for part 2 to make the fin, but this is how you make the newborn mermaid tail body part to the tail. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, make sure you're subscribed, and thanks so much for tuning in today.